I emailed Steve Cropper directly through his own website, and he got back in touch with me to let me know he'd be coming over to the UK to play with the remnants of a band known as the Animals in the 1960s that Eric Burdon used to be with. When they tour now over here, he will occasionally come over and guest with them, along with a lady from Glasgow who was a singer with Stone the Crows. I can't remember her name at the moment. So I met him at the Burnley Blues Festival, in between sound checks. I took him across the road to the organiser's office, and we had a chat about the early days of his recording career with Booker T and the MGs, his big pal, of course, Otis Redding, Mac Rice, Eddie Floyd, all those people that he collaborated with and wrote so many great songs. And importantly, we were just getting into the in-depth conversation about Sam and Dave when somebody called him away to go and do the sound check. So we never quite got to the bottom of that one. He spoke about Belushi, John Belushi, and Dan Aykroyd and the making of the Blues Brothers and things like that. But the most important thing that people don't realise about Steve Cropper is how far back he goes into the annals of soul music history, and what an important part he played in all that. He told a great story of how when he wanted a guitar, he approached his parents about it, and they said, well, look, you'll have to save up from your paper round and things like that. So as a young child, he got a copy of the Sears Roebuck catalogue, which was a popular thing to do in the United States. It's a bit like the Argos catalogue, I suppose, that you'd see now. And within that catalogue, in the 1950s, late 1950s, they would have had a section, a musical section with acoustic guitars of varying prices. So he saw one that he could afford, or he thought he could afford, and he saved up and saved up and saved up, ordered this guitar, and then the day that it was due to be delivered, he spent all his time sat on the porch step of his parents' house until the Sears Roebuck van turned up. And the guy said, okay, here's your package, and it was so many dollars, I think it was like $14.95 or something. And he didn't realise there was going to be that extra charge for the delivery. And he was really struggling. He'd only just got the money that was actually posted in the catalogue for the guitar, and he had to scrabble around at the last minute to get those last few cents. So Steve Cropper eventually ended up with this guitar, which was obviously his pride and joy at the time, as it would be for anyone at that period in time, sort of the 50s and the late 1950s. Where you would work and save up to get the best that you could afford. And that presumably stood him in good stead until such times as he got his first Fender guitar, which he was so famous for using with Booker T and the MGs. When you think of the songs that he recorded, not just on, with them, Green Onions and everything else that he did, but also as the backing band for all these great artists, and of course as a co-writer with as I said, with Otis Redding before, who was his great friend. I think everyone knows the tale of how he had to complete Dock of the Bay because Otis had sadly died in an aircraft incident. Steve had to finish that. He told me that a lot of the time when he was co-writing with these various artists, Mac Rice, Otis, Eddie Floyd, that he would just play his Fender Telecaster or the Esquire. I think he had an Esquire before he had a Telecaster, and the only difference there is that the Esquire is the same body shape, but it just has a single bridge pickup, doesn't have a neck pickup. So he used to actually play those acoustically. They would sit in hotel rooms or motel rooms and compose the songs and work them out there and then. And he just said they were the best times ever. You know, he mentioned especially that spending time with the likes of Otis Redding was the most important time of his life. And obviously he misses him greatly because they were such strong collaborators together. I can't imagine the heartache that he went through when Duck Dunn died so suddenly. I think that was just over 12 months ago now. Obviously they were musical partners for such a length of time. And I did see him perform at the Crossroads Guitar Festival, the 2013 Guitar Festival, where he played with Booker T. And Steve doesn't actually play a Fender guitar anymore. He's got a custom-made guitar by Peavey from Missouri in the States. They've made a beautiful guitar, that similar sort of lines to a Telecaster, but more exotic with the choice of woods, and obviously it's tailored to Steve Cropper's exact taste, and that's what he tends to use nowadays. But of course, he's just got so much feeling in his playing. He's fairly minimalist in his playing, and as he said, you know, the notes that you leave out are just as important as the ones that you play. And you hear that in his approach. I would say that his importance with regard to the all-time greats of guitarists in modern times, which we would class from sort of early 1950s through to now, cannot be understated. He's influenced so many styles and so many different guitar players. And the songs that he's written, either by himself or that he's co-written, will still be played and heard by people long after we're all gone. He's gone, I've gone, you know, in time to come. They just stand the test of time. So, as I say at the beginning, his importance as a musician and as a guitarist cannot be understated.